Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Dear delegates and other invitees. Now we are starting the session, parallel technical session, 30th practical session between 2 p.m. to 3:25. We have three lectures. One is State of Practice lecture by Distinguished Professor Satyendra Mittal, IIT Roorkee, and special lecture by Professor Prishati Ray Chaudhary from IIT Kanpur, and another special lecture by Professor Piju Samoy from NIT Patna. And in this session, we have distinguished chair and the co-chair. The session will be chaired by Professor Shivapriya Mukherjee, and the co-chair is Dr. Saha Dubhaji from Bata Atomic Research Center. Sir, on behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome all of you to this technical parallel session 30th. So it is my privilege and honor to introduce our chair on this occasion for the August delegates. I will share my screen. Yes. So it is my pleasure to introduce Shivapriya Mukherjee, who is chairing the technical session. Dr. Mukherjee is a professor in civil engineering at Jadavpur University. He obtained Bachelor of Engineering, Civil Engineering and Master of Civil Engineering degrees in 1978 and 1981 respectively from Jadavpur University, and PhD from IIT Kharagpur later in 1997. He went to National University of Singapore in 2005 as a visiting professor. Professor Mukherjee has supervised 15 PhD theses and more than 55 master's degrees theses. He has published more than 150 papers in international and national journals and conferences. Professor Mukherjee has efficiently managed various administrative roles, including serving as Dean of Faculty of Engineering at Jadavpur University. He also served as Chairman IGS Kolkata chapter. With this brief introduction to our audience, I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Shivapriya Mukherjee to conduct the session. Sir, welcome, sir. It is my pleasure to introduce our co-chair of the technical session 30th, Dr. Shah Sabuji, graduated from Jadavpur University, Kolkata in 1988 and joined one-year orientation course in nuclear engineering at BARC Training School in 1999. On completion of the course, he joined Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai in 2000. He completed his PhD from IIT Bombay in 2016 and is affiliated to Homi Bhabha National Institute, Mumbai. He has served Homi Bhabha Award. He received Homi Bhabha Award for securing first rank in civil discipline at BARC Training School in 1999. He has received Group Achievement Award from DIE in 2013. He has supervised 5 MTech students and is external examiner for MTech dissertations for University of Mumbai. His professional assignments include analysis and design of industrial and nuclear safety related structures, interpretation of soil investigation data, and interpretation of concrete NDT data. He is member of various task forces and safety review committees at BARC and Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, Mumbai. He is principal collaborator for an ongoing BRNS project with IIT Bombay. He also serves as reviewer for research projects submitted to BRNS. He has authored over 50 articles in various national and international journals, peer-reviewed conference proceedings, and book chapters also. So with this brief biodata, I welcome Dr. Saha Dubhaji to this session as a co-chair. Sir, on behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome you. Over to the chair.
So thank you, Dr. Raju. So our first presenter is Professor Mittal, who will deliver the SOAP lecture. So I request Professor Mittal to start his lecture. Before that, I will make one introduction. So it is here actually. Dr. Satyendra Mittal obtained his BE Civil degree from MNR College. Actually, it is totally cannot be seen.
You can see in our screen, sir. You directly are projected already.
So
In your, I'm sharing it.
actually, these pictures are these videos are covering here, so I cannot see the entire screen. That is the problem.
Okay, you will read with your biodata, sir.
I'm reading, no problem. Yes,
Okay.
that is better.
Sir, sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Mittal, sir.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I sent Professor a soft copy also, and this I prepared
Okay.
so that it's easy.
So anyway, I am now introducing Professor Mittal. Dr. Satyendra Mittal obtained his BE Civil degree from MNR Engineering College, Allahabad, and Masters and PhD degrees from IIT Roorkee. Presently, he is coordinator, head of Geotechnical Engineering Group of Civil Engineering Department, IIT Roorkee. He is author of over 90 technical papers published in national and international journals and conferences. Dr. Mittal's research activities include ground improvement techniques, soil dynamics, and basic geotechnical engineering. His fieldwork on ground improvement techniques has been selected for seeking patent rights. He also prepared a technical film on reinforced earth technology. He is also member of reviewers panel of American Society of Civil Engineering, Canadian Journal, IGS Journal, and Korean journals on civil engineering. Dr. Mittal has guided nearly 50 master's theses and 7 PhD theses in IIT Roorkee. Currently, he is guiding 5 PhD theses. Currently, he is also member of Technology Mission of Indian Railways and designing the rail track for bullet trains. He is also editor of ISET, Indian Society of Earthquake Technology Journal. Dr. Mittal is member of several professional bodies like Indian Geotechnical Society, Indian Roads Congress, Indian Water Resources Society, Indian Society of Earthquake Technology, etc. He has organized 15 short-term courses, 6 national level conferences, and 3 international courses successfully with a wide participation from India and abroad. With this brief introduction, I invite Professor Mittal to kindly deliver his precious lecture, SOAP lecture to all of us.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. Okay, so let me share. Okay, good afternoon, friends. The topic of my presentation is on deformation modulus characteristics of cyclically loaded granular earthbed for high-speed trains. So as it was told just now, I am also a member of Technology Mission of Indian Railways, and I have been given task of designing the rail tracks in respect of geotechnical parameters for the high-speed trains, which is the dream project of Prime Minister of India. So because of the paucity of time, I am just limiting my discussion on the laboratory tests only, and the analytical work I am not discussing in this presentation. So co-author is Anup Bhardwaj. He is my PhD student. He is going to submit his PhD after 2 months. So this work is basically taken from his ongoing PhD work only. So friends, as we know that with the rapid growth of population, there has been an increase in the demand for faster and economic solutions for transport sector. The development of high-speed train network is rapidly growing in many countries around the world, especially in developing countries like India. With the recent advancements in railway technology, it is now possible for the trains to travel at higher speed than before. And where the high speed is important, the ground supporting the formation for high-speed train also needs to be adequate, and it should be taken care very carefully. So this is the rail track which is adopted by Indian Railways, and this is given in the railway code GE1. Most of you, because my co-authors, my colleagues in this session, They all are very experts, and I know all of them personally, including the chair and co-chair. I know them. Uh, all of you friends must be aware that railways, Indian Railways, fortunately or unfortunately, has only one code so far. And that code, this code G1, this was also prepared by Britishers long back. So when I started this research project of Indian Railways for high-speed train tracks, I requested Indian Railways to provide me whatever information or whatever codes they have. But I was taken aback and I was surprised when they told me that there is only one code, and on the basis of that, all the trains in India are running. So anyway, so this is the code, and you can see in this code that this is the ballast layer, which we generally see whenever we travel by train, and this is the sleeper, and these are the rails which are fixed on that. And below this ballast, this is all the blanket layer, and this blanket layer comprises of the subballast and the cohesionless soil generally. But generally, we prefer the locally available soil only. But if locally available soil is, say, cohesive soil, then they adopt the cohesive soil also. The only thing which Indian Railways so far is adopting is, you see, the CBR value. So they have divided the soil qualities in three parts. SQ1 is soil quality 1, SQ2 is soil quality 2, SQ3 is soil quality 3. And for SQ1, SQ2 and SQ3, they have earmarked the certain value of the CBR. But when we see the codes in other countries, I have gone through the Spanish codes, I have gone through the German codes, I have gone through the codes of many other developing nations, including the codes of Japan also. They do not use generally the CBR value. Rather, they use the EV2 value, which I am going to discuss just now. So let us see the functions of ballast, because that is important to understand before I really come to the main point of the discussion of my presentation. Ballast, as we see in this picture, ballast is the layer of free draining coarse aggregate comprising of graded crushed stone, granite and basalt, and used as a tension elastic support for resting the sleepers. So this is the main function of the ballast. It transfers the load from track to subballast and drains away the water from rails and sleepers. Then it resists the vertical, lateral and longitudinal forces applied to the sleepers. It absorbs the shocks and impact, and it gives the resiliency and provides the energy absorption. It also reduces the bearing stresses from sleepers and the all accessible stresses. Now let us see the function of the subballast, which is just below the ballast. And subballast is also part of the blanket, as I said in the beginning. So in this picture, we can see that this is the blanket layer. You can see in this picture, and this is the train through which I took this picture. The subballast is also termed as capping layer or blanket. It is a layer of granular material between the ballast and the underlying subgrade. Subgrade is the naturally available ground where the rail track is proposed. Generally, it comprises of the graded slag or crushed aggregates. The blanket thickness reduces the stress at the bottom of the ballastic layer and to the reasonable level for the top of the subgrade. So these are the functions of the blanket and the ballast. Now this is the subgrade layer, which is naturally occurring naturally occurring strata at the site. So the subgrade is the foundation to the entire railway structure, as it transfers load to the natural ground, and if the quality of the soil is not adequate, the soil must either be replaced with a stiffer material or be reinforced. So subgrade, we generally, if the soil is very bad at the site, maybe the cohesive soil, or maybe still worse soil, or maybe the area is in the flood zone, then we lay some soil and we create a subgrade. Then the next part is a progressive shear deformation and the excessive plastic deformation are two major problems that the subgrade is exposed to. So let us try to understand what is the progressive shear deformation. let us say this is the clay subgrade, and above this we provide the blanket, the subballast and the ballast. So that is all granular layer, and then the sleeper like this. Now this is a stable state, but when it is clay soil, then what happens due to the frequent movement of the train, then the clay available there, this clay subgrade, this behaves like a remolded clay, and this generates the heave, like we can understand from this figure. And due to this, there are frequent deformations and distresses developed into the rail track, and it also thereby leads to the plastic deformation. And plastic deformation is partly associated with progressive shear failure, because if the shear failure is progressive in nature, then it leads to the plastic deformation, and it's partly with the progressive consolidation and compaction by the repeated traffic load. So this is the cross section, and this is the longitudinal section of the clay subgrade area. And these are some codes which have been followed by us in our research work: the French codes, the German codes, and the other codes also we have adopted in the present research work. These are the UIC code which is adopted by mostly the European nations. And of course, we have studied the Swedish codes also, because these codes are really very nice codes. And in India also, because I am also part of the team of High Speed Rail Corporation, there also I insisted upon them that we should use the EV2 value, which I am yet to discuss. Well, friends, from these codes, the essence of all these codes is that the earthwork is highly dependent on its compaction quality. And as per UIC code 719, the compaction should achieve minimum deformation modulus with an homogeneous distribution. This is very important point. The deformation modulus can be measured using plate load test as specified in DIN 18134. This is the German code. So friend, this is the rail embankment which is adopted by the German railways. And here we can see that they do not consider the they do not consider the CBR value like in India we consider. They consider the EV2 value, and EV1, EV2. These are the important parameters which they have created, and mostly countries in Europe, they are adopting EV2 system only. So friends, this was the Indian Railway embankment, as I had shown you earlier also. Now with my constant insistence on the Indian Railways, that code has been revised now, and this is the code G14. And in that case, on my constant persuasion with the Indian Railway authorities, now they have agreed to include the EV2 value also in the Indian Railway codes. So if EV2 is about 100 MPa, then it is equivalent to CBR 25. So in near future, Indian Railway will never talk of the CBR value, because CBR is now an obsolete parameter. Similarly, this is this is for the ballast and subballast area, blanket area. This for blanket area, and for the area below this, the embankment fill, the EV2 should be, in any case, minimum it should be 45 MPa. So EV2, how do we achieve EV2 value? That I will explain you. On comparing old and new section from the design code, it can be seen that the height of the embankment has been increased with the inclusion of the blanket layer and by addition of the embankment fill. Well, friend, this point I have to elaborate a little more. Due to the lack of knowledge in Indian Railways so far, we were talking of they were talking of CBR only, and wherever the higher stiffness or higher resilience was required, simply the railway engineers, because I had been interacting in last 2 years with the top notch of Indian Railways, the top engineers of Indian Railways, I had been interacting for last 2 years. They say, I asked them that what you will do with the high speed rail. So they say that we will increase the blanket layer thickness. You see, that is the irony of the fact that they have only the limited knowledge that if we increase the blanket layer thickness, the stiffness of the rail track will increase. So it is a it's an irony. So whereas you all will agree with me that blanket layer material is what? It is a mining material. And in India, the mining is banned now. Only the limited mining is allowed, that too for the national projects. So because mining material is a luxury, so we have to look for the alternate solutions. So no theoretical background is provided in the codes for the new approach. Then minimum deformation modulus criteria has also been set now for on the basis of setting up the criteria. I mean, the deformation modulus, this parameter, Indian Railway authorities, the engineers, they were not even aware of. They now are convinced only when I did lot of model tests and lot of analytical studies, and now they have agreed to adopt the deformation modulus criteria also. It is a common practice in the developing countries to increase the height of the embankment with the understanding that increasing height will help in distribution of stresses better. You see, so this is for the developing nations like India, but for the developed nations, they do not believe in this postulate or in this theory. So now the deformation modulus criteria, we will see what is the deformation modulus criteria. So now as I said that my presentation is limited to the laboratory test results only. So now whatever laboratory results we have achieved, we have compared it with the European codes, and now we have also determined the deformation modulus of the embankment. And I will show you that now by adopting the deformation modulus criteria, which Indian Railways was never adopting, now how economically the rail tracks can be created or constructed for the high-speed trains. So study is planned to find out the minimum required deformation modulus for the design of the Indian Railways embankment to economize the section. So this is the main focus of our research work. So now friends, I have tried to explain you in very simple terms. Load intensity as per the German code is load intensity required for a good rail track is 500 kN per meter square. So this is the recommended value for high-speed trains in Germany. Now, if I talk of the length of the sleeper in India, it is 2.75 as per the RDSO guidelines, and average width of the sleeper is around 246 mm. So if I just calculate, the area of this as 2.75 into this 0.246, and if I multiply it with 500, then I get the load around 34.49 tons. That this much load comes on the sleeper. And as per Indian Railways loads, generally most of the tracks in India, they are designed for 16.5 tons load. Germany is designing the tracks for 35 tons and sometimes for more also. So now if I calculate the load intensity for 165 kN means 16.5 tons, then the load intensity required is 243.9, and if I multiply it with the size of plate which I have used, then we require the maximum load as 10 kN. So as per Indian conditions, maximum load to be used in the test is the 10 kN. Okay, so whatever is the test plate, accordingly we can designate the load required for the model test. So these are the load application, and generally the load is applied with this circular plate of 300 mm dia as per the German code. So these are the loads for a particular set of result which I am going to show you, and these are the normal stress, means this load divided by the plate area means 0.786 d square. D is 300 mm dia. So now friends, this is the conventional load versus settlement curve. So this is the pressure, means the kN per meter square, and this is the curve which has been drawn by use of this table data only. So friends, the slope of the first line, this is called EV1, means this is the first loading. So 1 means the first loading. Then when we withdraw the load, obviously there is some reloading or during the unloading. So this is the curve, this is a rebound curve, and when we apply the load again, then this is the reloading curve, and the slope of this second is called the EV2. And EV1 or EV2, it is a general formula for calculating either EV1 or EV2. This is 1.5 into R. R is the radius of the test plate, and delta sigma upon delta S means this is the slope of this curve. So this is the formula which is used for the EV, for computation of the EV value. Now, for calculating the settlement of the rail track, this formula is used. S is equal to A naught plus A1 plus A2 into sigma O sigma naught square. So here the sigma naught is the average normal stress below the plate, and A naught, A1 and A2, these are the constants of the second degree polynomial, and S is the settlement of the loading plate. Friends, A naught, A1 and A2, these are calculated from these three equations. So we have three equations and we have three unknowns, A naught, A1, A2, and by solving these equations, we can calculate the A naught, A1 and A2, and after that, finally we can calculate the settlement, and finally after that we can calculate the EV value also. So these are the grain size distribution curves of two different type of soil. This is for ballast and this is for the soil, which we had used in our model test, and soil classification was SM, and soil we collected from Haridwar, and this was the soil. And Haridwar, you see, Haridwar has a very big yard of Indian Railways. So they provided us the actual soil of the track where the high-speed rail track had to be constructed near Haridwar also. So friends, although we have done more than 100 tests, but I am just limiting 5-6 tests only for this presentation. So objective was, of course, to find the minimum thickness required for suitable EV2 value for the high-speed rail track. And the parameters we adopted as per the German code only. And what were the combinations? We took the subgrade of varying thickness, then to find the suitable thickness of the subgrade, because again, our economy starts right from here. Then second, in the subgrade, we had used the varying blanket thickness, because again, the blanket occupies the maximum mining material. So there also we wanted to economize the blanket thickness, and then subgrade plus blanket plus geogrid, then subgrade plus ballast, means after removing the blanket totally, means subgrade and ballast only. Then the subgrade plus geogrid plus ballast, then subgrade plus blanket plus ballast, and then subgrade plus blanket plus ballast plus geogrid. So for all the cases, we have determined the EV2 parameter. So friend, this is our test setup. This is in my geotechnical lab, and you know, the same ballast which Indian Railway had provided us, the same ballast was used, considering that it is a ballast layer for the full embankment. Means the right on the subgrade, we are totally ruling out the blanket layer and providing the ballast embankment only. And this was, of course, with the geogrid. So now you see, we had chosen the different thicknesses of the our track, and then EV1, EV2 values we had computed by the same test, the pictures of which I had shown you just now. And you see, if I take the ratio of this and this, the strain modulus ratio is coming as 3.25, and ultimately the modular ratio is very important for designing the, you know, the advanced tracks for the high speeds. And these are the geogrid properties which we had used in our work. Now here I am showing you some selected results. So here it is a subgrade of 400 thickness, and EV2, as I had shown in the initial slide, that now GE14 of Indian Railways, which has been revised after my persuasion, they say that minimum required EV2 value for subgrade should be 45. And you see, simply by doing our analysis and by convincing the Indian Railways, now I had shown that simply by proper compaction and by trying this methodology which we have evolved, the EV2 value achieved is 61.47, which is higher than 45. 45 is the minimum required. Similarly, where the subgrade is of 500, then we got the EV2 value as 68.86. So required modulus is achieved. Here also it is achieved. Then here we had tried the subgrade of 500 plus blanket of 200. We got the EV2 value still higher, 86.54. So now for this blanket and this thing, the minimum required EV2 is 100. So again, we tried some more permutation combination. And there, if we use the one single layer of geogrid, then we got the, the EV2 value as 100. So required thickness of the blanket should be increased as per the Indian Railway specification is 500, 200 now with one layer of geogrid. Now, then if subgrade is of 500 and ballast is 300, then we got the EV2 value higher than 100. So, so this was again a good gain and good recommendation from our model test. Similarly, for other results also, and we got the EV2 value as high as 163.97. And the highest EV2 is 120. So now, when we had shown these results, and these tests were conducted in the presence of the railway engineers also, and now they are well convinced that EV2 parameter is the right parameter for designing the rail track. So here also you see these are the Indian, this is the Germany system, this is France, China, Spain, and you see so far for ballast our Indian codes were silent about EV2, means no past data is available to us. Now for the blanket, now they are saying now EV2 should be 100. I have already explained you this thing in the previous slides. So for the ground soil, they say that the 20 should be the EV2 value, and for Germany, for France, China, Spain, these are the values. Now friends, let us see the results which we adopted, which we obtained from our current model test. We got the EV2 value as 138.94 when our track was ballast 300 and blanket 200 and the subgrade was 500. So this is the model which we created in our large size steel tank, and the picture of which I had shown you. Similarly, if I adopt the blanket as 200 and subgrade as 500, I got the EV2 as 86.54, which is for the blanket. And similarly, we got the EV2 value as 79.54, and for the subgrade against the value of 45. So these are the current study with the geogrid. This value is further increased to 163.94, and then this value was increased to 99 by using a geogrid, and here this value is already higher than 45. So these are the advantages, and now we are able to convince the Indian Railway authorities. So these are the comparison of Indian Railway design with the current study. Means now they had been adopting the thickness of the top layer of embankment fill as 500 mm, and we are also adopting 500 because the Indian Railway authorities, they were not agreed to reduce this embankment fill at all. So we kept this as the same. Now for SQ2 with soil quality, second quality of soil, they were adopting 750. Now we have shown them, we have convinced them by conducting the actual prototype test, by creating in our laboratory. Now the 200 mm blanket thickness is good enough. Similarly, the ballast thickness on the top, this is 350. Now we have shown that now 300 mm is good enough, because once I am getting the required EV2 value at 300 mm, and EV2 is well adopted parameter by all developed nations, so we should also do it. So the total height of embankment in Indian Railways is generally 1.6 meter, but now in India we can have the 1 meter total thickness of the embankment. Here I would like to add one thing, that if These are the parameters. All these parameters are for the no flood zone. If the track is going or passing through the flooding zone, then we add further 1 meter. V means the Indian Railways add further 1 meter. So if I compute the economy achieved by adopting the EV2 parameter by using the 1600 mm only, then it is economy is 23%, means higher than 23%. And when I use this as 2600 mm, is by adding 1 meter as the flood zone, means additional 1 meter height is chosen because of negotiating or because of meeting the flood eventualities, then the economy is 61%. So friends, here this blue line and the red line, we can see that this blue line is that EV2 required is 100, and this red line is the full embankment thickness that Indian Railways is adopting is minimum is 800. In any case, whatever the soil type, even if the best soil is there, they adopt minimum as 800. So you see this dotted line, this dotted line is EV2 value without geogrid, and this solid line is EV2 value with the geogrid. So this is the increase in the modulus value simply by using one single layer of geogrid. And this curve I am showing you only with the single layer of geogrid. We have done lot of tests by using 2 layers of geogrid also, and there it is a phenomenal growth in the value of EV2. So friends, I would like to conclude now that deformation modulus can be used as a parameter to evaluate the performance of the embankment with the design values. Then deformation modulus is very sensitive to the compaction effort applied to the underlying layer. Hence, degree of compaction control should always be of high quality. Then to meet the required deformation modulus EV2 now set by Indian Railway, the height of embankment can be reduced, because earlier they were believing only on the CVR value. But now, fortunately, I have now deviated their mind, means mind of the Indian Railway engineers, that now onwards they will be using EV2 value. So the total reduction in the height of embankment based on the border ratio values is nearly 23%, and geogrids as expected enhance the EV2 value by 28%. And in addition to other benefits, the other benefits are reduction in the breakage of ballast and preventing the penetration of the ballast into subgrade. As we all know, we all experts are sitting in this session here, that when we provide the geogrid, it provides a positive confinement to the ballast, and because of that the ballast do not migrate to other places by movement of the fast speed train. So because of that the ballast remains in its position only, and by that it provides a further confinement to the overall the rail embankment. And last is the based on the design chart which I have already shown, the minimum required thickness can be calculated. So last point is that if I want to fix up the EV2 value, then I can calculate the embankment thickness. Secondly, if I have to fix the embankment thickness because of the local topography, because of the local reasons, then for that thickness of the embankment, I can calculate the EV2 value which I am getting. And accordingly, for attaining the higher value of the EV2, I can think of providing the more than one geogrid layer also. So thank you, friends. Thank you so much.
If anyone has any question, they can ask. It is in the question and answer. I think Professor Mittal, can you see please? What are the questions, if any?
Yeah, I think there is no question.
There is no question.
I have one question, sir. Professor,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah. You have developed that plate bearing test apparatus in the laboratory?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have any standard specifications? Because you referred some German or Sweden?
Yeah, Sweden, German, and like I said, we have conducted a lot of tests. but now we followed finally the DIN, that is a German code. And
German code.
yeah, German code only. And according to that,
Uh,
whatever is the track size that we have created in the laboratory, the model test.
Nice. What about boundary effects, sir?
What about?
Boundary effects. Because you used a plate.
I had written in the slide that the plate size was chosen in such a manner that there is no boundary effect. It is 1/5 of the
So it,
1/5 of the tank area, tank size.
okay. Sir, is it a cyclical? Is it a repeated load?
Yes, it's
test,
a
right?
repeated load. Yes, it is a repeated load.
So when we do this cyclic plate load test, I think cyclic plate load test, we will get what is called elastic deformation.
Elastic
So
deformation.
in
right.
other way, I can use what is called modulus of deformation.
Yes, right. Yes, that's right.
Because you are using EV2 value,
Yes.
which is having kilonewton per square.
Yeah. Yes.
The same thing applies here also.
Yeah.
So very nice, sir. You are now changed the mindset of the people, Indian Railways. That is a fantastic thing.
Yes, that is a
Really.
great job that you have done.
Because you can convince anybody, National Highway and all. Railways means it is highly impossible.
Oh yeah, very tough. Very
Easy.
tough persons to
Yeah,
handle.
very tough.
Very tough.
Those
Very
people and then Air Force, airports, they're all very stringent.
Very tough.
You are very successful in bringing change in Indian scenario now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sir, I have just one question to know only that
Yeah,
you are telling that EV2 is the main factor on which this depends. Yeah, but why EV1 will have no effect? Because when I am starting actually functioning, then EV1 has to come. So I just want to know this.
Yeah. You are absolutely. It's a very nice point you have raised, sir. Both the EV1, EV2 are important for us. And what should be the minimum EV1 value required? That code has given. The German code has given. So that I have not defined. But finally, they resort to EV2 value only for design of the track. So I have just discussed only EV2 in this. So that is the only thing. Finally, they adopt EV2.
I think what you are telling at the beginning, that EV1 by EV2 value, that should be defined, I think.
Defined, yeah.
So that both have effect actually.
Yeah, actually, sir, EV1 is the slope of the first cycle.
Yes.
Then it rebounds. So by that time, the residual stresses and everything, they are developed already. So
Yes.
EV2 is more important because by that time, the track is already consolidated and compacted.
Yes.
And EV2 value finally gives that what is the compaction level.
Definitely.
So, yeah, so EV2 that way is important from professional practices viewpoint.
And again, when more cycles will run, then say
Yes,
EV3, EV4 will come.
Yeah,
and that will be also much improved.
Yes, much improved. Yes. But they are happy with the EV2 value. If EV2 value is coming within the desired range, then it is okay.
Then it is okay, definitely.
Then it is okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you.
So,
one question.
Yeah,
very
Professor,
nice lecture. I want to ask that do you incorporate the risk analysis during the design of the embankment?
No, risk analysis we have not considered.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So if there is no question, so I thank Professor Mittal for delivering us a very enlightening and very nice lecture.
Very good lecture.
Once upon a time, I taught railway in BE course. So I have also newly actually, I think that I have learned all the things, and even with the design parameters, what he has defined and explained. So with this, I thank Professor Mittal, and I am now introducing.
Sir, one second. One more small question to Mittal, sir.
Okay.
Sir, is it okay?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, why not?
Sir,
yes.
Can we apply same concept to our national highways?
Well, I tried because I am doing a lot of projects of NHAI these days, and and the regional director and even the country head of NHAI is friend of mine. So in my last meeting last month, I told him about EV2 concept.
Mhm.
So it was new to him, and they are finally happy with the CBR value. Like I am designing one high speed, not high speed. What is they call it?
Express.
Expressway.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it is Lucknow to Gorakhpur, because that
Yeah.
is the constituency of our chief minister. So I am involved in the quality control of this Lucknow Gorakhpur expressway. So there also finally they say that CBR value is good enough for us. So, but there also it is the expressway, that too of chief minister constituency. Even Yogi, our chief minister UP, he calls me very frequently. Almost every month I get his phone call
Mm.
that Dr. Mittal, I don't want any compromises in the quality and everything. Please take care. Even the Home Secretary. But there, Professor Raju, we are adopting only the CBR concept, because NHI people at this stage are not ready to deviate from their ongoing practices.
Okay, this is the version from their end. Personally, what you feel, sir? Do you feel
Yeah,
that
it should be. Yeah, it can be. It can be.
it can
It
be?
can be.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be.
So thank you very much, sir. Because the kind of loads and stresses, they are one and the same.
Yes.
So
That's
thank you
right.
very much, sir. Thank you. We have learned many things from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mittal,
Thank you. Thank you.
for the nice lecture.